Hi, welcome to another day of the life of TLE. Um, I wanted to mention something that I didn't mention in the previous video about my 2 weeks of trying to put my life together and figure everything out and get new doctors and all of that. The other thing that I felt to mention was that I was also presented with whether or not I wanted to have children. So there was the fertility thing. Should I harvest my eggs? And there were a couple of procedures that I could have done. But again, it was, everything was happening really fast. I didn't have a lot of time and my plate was really full. So I had to make a decision on whether or not I wanted to try to preserve or harvest eggs for a later date or just let nature take its course or whatever the case may be. So because everything was so hectic and I just didn't have the energy to bite off another thing, I decided to just keep moving and go ahead with the treatment. There were moments where I juggled or I did mental gymnastics on the thought of regret or what if. And I was saddened by that. I was sad that I had to make that choice. And okay with it too, if that makes sense. I don't want to have regret, but at the time I felt like that was the best thing for me to do. So, yeah, that was the other thing that I wanted to mention. A few other things that I want to mention is that at times I may seem like I've lost my train of thought, and that could very well be the case. I also talk really slow. I've always talked slow, but I talk much slower, partially because I am experiencing, but getting much better with some cognitive delays. Some people have mentioned chemo brain or whatever the case may be. I remember when someone first asked me if I had experienced that, and I was like, no, I'm okay. I think my memory is pretty good, and I don't notice any difference. But about 6 or 7 months into treatment, it could be because I had started a second treatment, which was pretty intense. But I didn't start noticing it until around that period of the second chemo, that I was forgetting things. There were simple words that I could not remember. One of the things that I've noticed, and I've had this both before and after treatment, is that it was really hard for me to form sentences and gather my thoughts and get things together. So please excuse me if I don't come across as the most articulate or efficient person. I'm just telling my story. So yeah, that's something that I dealt with, and I remember in the summertime trying to describe things like a spoon, but not being able to say the word or remember the correct word for certain things. And so at times, even when I'm talking to people, I've had people get offended and say, "Oh, I know what that means," or "You didn't have to, repeat that or break that down." And I've had to explain to them also that I wasn't necessarily breaking it down because I felt like they didn't comprehend. I was breaking it down because I wasn't feeling 100% secure in my word choice, or if I was actually making sense to them during the conversation. So that's another thing that has happened, and at times it happens. It's getting better. I've noticed a major change, but I still have a hard time remembering names, and sometimes I have very short-term memory loss. Some of my friends who are in their 50s are like, "Oh, just you know, charge it to um, your pre 50 days or whatever the case may be. They're trying to encourage me that, when I turn 50 or whatever, I'll start remembering. I'll I'll stop remembering names and things of that nature anyway. It'll become really common. So a little humor in there. But um, so some other things that I'll throw in here just for the sake of getting stuff out here. I'm going to try to make this pretty short and throw the other thing. So if you look at my hair, it's growing back. This is my post-chemo hair. I have had 4 different types of chemos, 5 different sessions, and yeah, so my hair is growing back. I don't really particularly care for the growing back stage, never have in any um, during any period of life or haircuts or changes. So it's always difficult. But one of the things that actually came up during all of this was my struggle with losing my hair and or appearance, because of a lot of my self-esteem is tied up into the way that I look, and I like to feel comfortable or feel okay with that. I wrote a couple of blogs about my hair. One of them, in one of the blogs, I remember saying, out of all the things to concern myself with right now, as it relates to side effects of the chemo, is my hair, and I kind of got, down on myself about feeling bad about hair. I felt like there were so many other things that I should have been concerning myself with, but I also had a revelation at that moment that hair was very important in my life, and how growing up, my parents were really big on hair and appearance. Your hair had to look a certain way. Couldn't go outside if my hair wasn't a certain way or presentable, or what they found presentable. And I remember times where they would argue about my hair. I remember times where I was sent to other people to do my hair. Hair was always a big thing, and I think it still is a big thing in my family. So vanity, is it vanity, or is it just, what is it? So one of the things that I chose to definitely take off the list, because I don't think there is a healthy way to be vain during a situation like this. So I was just like, in order to not go through the mental stress of watching my hair fall out because it started thinning, I'm going to cut it. So the first chemo, I decided to cut it after I noticed the thinning, and then the second chemo, I didn't even get a chance to cut it because I woke up and like half of it was on the pillow. So that chemo was really evasive, and right away the side effects manifested with that one. That was the ice chemo. So yes, so it's growing back now, and I'm trying a few different products, and I haven't really tried as much as I used to try, partially because I'm not really rushing into a lot of chemicals, and the other reason is just because I don't have the time, energy, or money to afford a million different products. But some of the products that I've been using lately is some Lush products, and there's a curly wavy something that I use by them. It's a shampoo, and it's coconut, and it smells really good, and so far it works for me. I also use a leave-in conditioner moisturizer thing that they have, and just very recently a friend of mine treated me to a spa day at the Peninsula, and when I was done with my massage, my hair was like sticking up on my head and looking crazy. So I noticed that there was this gel in the bathroom as I was getting ready to leave out, and I was like, let me try to make my hair look a little better. And so I used it, and it was really, really good. It was really good, and I actually liked the way that my hair looked even the following day. So I just ordered that, and it's called J Beverly Hills Glaze, and then there's another one, and there's a firm holding gel or something like that. And so I'm looking forward to um, trying them out and seeing how they work with this head of mine. Um, So I think that's it for the things that I wanted to talk about. Again, I didn't want to do a really long video because it's late and because I'm just kind of going as I feel to go. So there are many other things to talk about. I have a whole list of things that I think I want to branch into. But again, I'm just kind of talking about stuff, and I think there are many people who may be able to have a moment where, like, yeah, I know exactly what she's talking about, or I had the same thoughts, or maybe that's something I need to consider. So yeah, that's it. Thanks.